How are you doing, everybody? Matthew back with you again. So, as promised, I'm getting ready to paint the truck and the bed and the hood. I'm going to start off with the primer, and I had promised I would go through these steps, and so I'm going to do it. I've done it before online or on video, but I'm going to do it again. And these will probably be a little bit longer, so if you don't want to watch them, that's fine. If you do, then that's great. I'm going to be using the Grex Trigium, whatever, the Grex TG3 has it, the number 3 needle, the large cup. I'm going to go ahead and use the regular spray, round spray nozzle. I have the fan, which we won't get into until we do the paint, is when we'll get into the fan. So I put the primer on with the regular nozzle. And the lacquer thinner can here that you see is the thinner that I'll be using, which is in this bottle here. But this can has my primer in it. And I can't remember the name of the primer, but if you go back and look in some of my past videos, you will see the primer. I got it at Napa, comes in a quart. And the lid is one that you have to pry off with one of these deals here. You have to pry the lid off all the way around like a paint can, and then they just never seal back correctly. So I use a lot of the thinner, and I have a gallon down here. So I just went and bought one of these cans, dumped the thinner into the gallon, and then just transferred my primer into this can here. So I have a snap lid on it, and then I can just use a pipette to get my primer out. So we're going to go ahead and mix up the primer, and we'll mix it here on the line because I just have an empty cup, and then we'll go ahead and start spraying. So let's get started on that. So I'll shake this a little bit more here, just make sure it's shook up, and then we'll get started spraying here. I do still use this to pop the lid off. And transfers over some primer here. And I don't measure anything, so I won't be able to tell you. I just do it by eye, so I won't be able to tell you any ratios. So I apologize for that. But you will be able to see on these. I got these cups from TCP Global, so you'll kind of be able to see on the cup how much I use. And you see this thinner is pretty thin. This wouldn't run out of the pipette as I'm putting it in there. And I have roughly 3/4 of a cup of primer, you can see there. I'm going to go ahead and fill that the rest of the way up with lacquer thinner, which will make it even thinner. And then I'll take my Dremel here, which I have one of those. I just cut this off of the Badger one of the rental batteries, and then I hooked it up to a dimmer switch. And then I just use that to stir with. So I'll stir that up real quick. I'm sorry, this will be a longer video, guys. We're at 4 minutes. But in order to show the entire process, it's kind of a necessity. And I keep this little glass bottle here with some just clear lacquer thinner in it. We'll wash that off. And done with that. Clean the pipette out a little bit. Paper towel here. So I like to reuse these pipettes. They're expensive. Alright, so let's set that over there. Get our airbrush here, get it loaded up. And this is where I really want to run out your pipette before you can get it into the gun, so you gotta kind of be careful. And I'm going to set my pressure on 20 pounds. Okay, so we got that. Pressure should be. Pressure's already adjusted. I'll turn the booth on. Hopefully you can still hear me. And the hood, I'm just going to hold in my hand. Just blow up, make sure there's no dust on it. Hopefully my thumb's not in the way. You can see how far away I'm holding them. 6 inches, roughly, away. Looks like I'm putting a lot on, but it's really not. It's so light, so thin. Just trying to keep it from blowing the hood out of my hand. I got a couple of injector pin marks there. You can see it was covered over. I'm trying to cover those. Which ought to be red, so it should cover up pretty easy with the paint once I go over the paint. So we'll lay it down now. Now it'll dry up while we're putting the primer on everything else. Let's go ahead and if I find anything on here that needs fixed, of course I'll go ahead and fix it before we move on to the paint. So I'm trying to keep this thing at an angle, so I'm actually spraying away from you. You can see it drawing the after spray or the overspray right out of the, just pulling it right out of the bed. You should be able to see that. If I was left-handed, you'd be able to see it better. But I'm not. I can't get up where I can see it. Sorry guys, but you can see it pulling an overspray right out of the truck. I've still got half a cup of paint left, or primer, so you can tell it's going on pretty thin. Yeah, it's still covering really good. I've not yet done the floor. I got a lot of sink marks on the inside here we're trying to get. Now we just ran our primer. So let's set this down real quick. I may have to mix up another batch or another cup of primer before we get done. We don't know. We just got the cab and the other side of the hood to go. But if I do, then I'll stop the video and you'll probably have seen enough by then. So that seems to be pretty good on the inside of the bed. So I can get that zoom in on it for you here. So you see, and I don't think that this thing is going to be sanded. Got a shine on primer. So that'll look good. Then we can go ahead and do the outside. Quick. And the underside too. Maybe just once we get done with the bed here, we'll call it quits, because that's going to be good enough to probably show you how I do it. I'll at least answer the question of how I do it. Primer. Just how much gets through the bed. Alright guys, there she is, all primed up, looking good. So we'll get on with the bed and the rest of the hood, and I'll be back when it's time to do some painting. Thanks for watching, sorry for the long video, and bye bye for now.